it's time for IP in the news. And what is our IP in the news today?
Well, it's about an argument over patents in the psychedelic medicines industry.
Right. I think, I mean, this sounds kind of funny, but this really is the direction that a lot of new medicines are going into. It's very, very interesting from a scientific standpoint.
Right. And there are people that are mad because other people got there first and patented a lot of like the starting ingredients, I guess.
Right.
And so they're like, well, we can't just use whatever we want to make whatever we want because these other people got patents.
How dare they?
How dare they get paid for what they're doing?
Right. Well, there's a couple of companies that are involved, and they're kind of famous in the psychedelic drug world. And we got this article from the Psychedelic Spotlight. So there's a whole industry that's building up around this now. The first company is Compass Pathways, and they created a new psychedelic molecule and got it patented. And people got upset about that, which as a patent person, I really don't understand why they would be upset by that. Some groups challenged the patent and it held up at the USPTO. But because they created a new molecule and something new and innovative, they were able to protect it with a patent, right?
Right. So if it was just something you extracted from a mushroom, I don't know, could you patent that? Could you patent the process?
Yeah, you could patent the process. So if you do a new type of extraction, you could, anything that is made by humans or influenced by humans can, in general, be patented if it hadn't been patented in the past.
But if you were just to eat a mushroom, you couldn't just patent the mushroom because that's occurring in nature, right?
Right. And if it's found naturally in nature, you can't patent it. But to go on with the story a little bit, there was another company called MindMed, and they combined LSD and another drug called MDMA. And apparently these drugs are really well known in the psychedelic world. I'm not sure what MDMA is, but I certainly have heard of LSD. Apparently they're unhappy because they got a patent on the combination of those two things. And so I guess, I guess that's kind of the debate, right? What kind of role should patents play in this industry?
What in the world are we going to do without new psychedelic drugs?
See things less psychedelically.
Anyway, I think it's time for Richard's Roundtable.
Right, Richard's Roundtable. And I want to go to our Mike Endersky first, because I have a feeling that he has some comments on this topic. So welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on this, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
Right. So what are your thoughts about this? First of all, I just have this intuitive sense. Speaking of intuition, I have this intuitive sense that you may know what MDMA is. So maybe you could explain that to our audience.
Well, I'm no expert, but it's Molly, and it's a form of ecstasy. And people have been mixing Molly and mushrooms and LSD and LSD and Molly because it has a very, very different effect than just doing one by itself. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I don't understand how anyone can get IP on any of these combinations of existing materials personally.
Yeah. Well, see, I mean, and that's so the way the patent laws work is if you can come up with a surprising result. That is, if you have a particular combination in a particular quantity or a particular type of delivery, then that could potentially be patentable. But from what you're telling me, it seems like people have been doing this for a long time. And in general, that should block this kind of patent unless there's something really unique about what they did. So
it's like patenting peanut butter and jelly.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you'd have to like actually read the patent and see what
Yeah, I
they
mean,
said.
it could be they did the process. I mean, because processes are different than the actual end chemicals, right?
Right.
So, I mean, if you did a new kind of peanut butter, I don't know, you might be able to patent it if you added some chemicals. Like some of those
Add
things.
some ecstasy to your peanut butter. I wonder how many people have done that, or maybe we could.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm addicted to peanut butter as it is. That could be really dangerous.
But Mike really brings up a good point, though. When it comes to patents, the devil's really in the details. And so
Right.
these patents are long, tricky documents with lots of different little changes in them. And so sometimes even small changes in what was going on can be protectable. But that wouldn't stop somebody from combining ecstasy and LSD in the way it's been done in the past. So you can't, you can
Right.
only protect the improvement. You can't protect what's already gone behind you. And so people would still be able to combine ecstasy and LSD in the patent. So,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
So, okay, what does Kim have to say about this?
I don't really know what to say about this. I think it's really interesting if you could come up with a new way to make peanut butter and jelly, an interesting and, let's say, ecstatic experience, maybe.
I have to say, it kind of already is for me.
What's that? The peanut butter and jelly?
Peanut butter and cherry jam. I feel like I'm in heaven.
Right. But there was like this product out for a while that was peanut butter and jelly in the same jar.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
gross.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I never tried it because I'm not a
just
big
looked
peanut butter
gross.
and jelly fan,
Yeah.
as you well know. But it was out there for a while. So, and then the question is as well, should somebody be able to patent that, right? And that's really borderline because it's not so innovative to put them in the same jar. But maybe when you're making them, putting them in the same jar is harder than you think.
Well, I
right?
think that the storage would be more difficult, and you'd probably have to put in more preservatives, right?
It doesn't work because how many different SKUs of jelly and peanut butter do you have to have a product line, right?
I have no
Because there's so many different types of jelly, right?
Okay, on that note, we should ask what Kenya has to say.
All right.
So what I was saying is that I just wanted to have clarification because I was always under the impression that you could not trademark or get an IP for a recipe, right? And when it comes to the food space, but you can create a molecule and you can get that trademark. So am I wrong in that? Can
Yes,
trademark
you
a recipe?
are. I don't know who started that rumor, but I hear that from food people all the time that, well, you can't get a patent on a recipe. That's ridiculous. Of course you can. You have to decide whether you want to get a patent on a recipe, whether it's worth the money. But big food companies patent their recipes all the time. And there's nothing that's different about a recipe than any other formula. And you can, patent makeup, you can patent cosmetics, anything that has chemicals, including food, is patentable as long as it hasn't been done by somebody else, right? And that's always the tricky part with a recipe, because it's like the same thing with the LSD and the efficacy. There's been a lot of people out there using this in the past. All of those instances where they combined those ingredients are prior art and should block you from getting a patent. But it's very hard to get concrete proof of that and get it to the patent office. So if you patent a recipe, you always take a risk that if you make your cherry pie, somebody 20 years ago in Oregon made it the same way as you did, and that would defeat your patent if it were ever challenged.
You mean the guy with the ecstasy lab in the backwoods in Oregon isn't going to challenge a patent?
I'm not even sure the guy in Oregon would know what a patent is, right? I mean, he's spending too much time having fun.
Yes. Anyway, well, I think it's an interesting area because it does seem like psychedelics are moving more into the realm of drugs for treatment if they're combined the right way and used the right way. And doctors are starting to see their potential more now.